Hi, Ronen. Thank you for accepting to do the raw interview with me. I found you on Google, and I figured out that you are one of the people who spoke about open design, very early, and you defined this term in your I think master thesis, as I understood.
Yeah.
And I think you're, because I'm very interested in open design, I'm learning about it, and I want to do, my own version of open design. And I figured out that you're doing open design in furniture design, in industrial design, which seems super hard for me. And I think I was just checking out how you did it. So this is what I would like to discuss. So I don't know, you can tell me a little bit how you came up with this idea of open design. Yeah.
Well, early 2000s, I was teaching design in Israeli academies, doing design. And I noticed that when the internet came, friends of mine that were in music, text, graphic design, animation, all these fields were, no problem. They're just doing, putting it online, downloading stuff, getting recognition, getting jobs, getting, being there basically, having a very interesting development of creativity and so on. While me, as an industrial designer, I experienced several frustrating failures when I try to, market my designs to producers, and I got some no, thank you, no, we cannot do that, things like that, and it kind of hit me that this internet revolution is is being taken in advantage, with all these fields that have that their output is digital, while my profession, which is industrial design, is stagnant. It's stuck somewhere in 1955 or I don't know what. But nobody, but because it never joined the internet revolution, it is still kind of. It's not developing. It's behind. So I was thinking. I had this idea that the challenge would be to bring industrial design, or let's say products, into the realm of internet and digital, the digital field in general. And it became pretty clear to me that there would be, there is a, how should I say this? The best situation of a piece of information in the internet is being open, is being free. And I got a lot of inspiration from open source software movement. Started only in 91, yeah, and it just exploded when I started looking at it. And it was a really good indication for me that something that I'm doing may work, And so I was looking, left and right on how to do things. I was already into CNC fabrication, and I just realized that if you take a CNC, you take a DXF or any file that can define the movements of a machine to fabricate something and put that online for anybody to download and copy and modify and so on and so on. You got a very interesting situation, and this situation was never like that in any kind of industrial design situation. So for me, it was a new thing when I did my master's thesis. It was either I'm an idiot or I'm a genius, putting the flag on the top of the mountain, kind of having a view. It was kind of scary in a way. But I said, okay, let's do it. I mean, the master thesis was just a thesis, but I was interested in actually making it real. And this is why I left Israel for Berlin in 2005. That was one of the main reasons to do that. to try and do, to experiment, to see what open design could mean. And this was a very, very big adventure. But coming back to open design, the principle of releasing something or putting something on a network, realizing that the world is shifting from hierarchies to networks. This was one of the big realizations. And industrial design being a field that is based on hierarchy. Yeah, you have a producer that controls things. The designer is basically at the bottom of the food chain. There is a very big control on creativity, while when you go to network, none of this exists. It's just decoupled. It's gone away. It does not exist. So there was a very big attraction for me to go in this direction and be creative as an open designer, and this is what I did. So 16 years later, here I am. This is what it is.
I like what you said. That you're moving from hierarchy to a network. But my experience is that's a huge jump, and I'm looking for like moving it a little bit, because I don't believe a big jump can be made. And I think I'm impressed by your bravery that you went like really dedicated your whole career and you were like, 100% into it, and do you feel like that? Do you think you've done like you dedicated 100%? That's the as much as you can push the concept.
Yeah, mainly this is what I was doing. I mean, I was always a teacher. So in many ways, I feel that open design is a design teacher's project, or opinion. And I taught a lot. I stopped teaching, I think 5, 6, 7 years ago from all kinds of reasons. But I always felt that it's me wanting to communicate, through design to other people and tell them that the world is changing and the hierarchy can be avoided or cancelled, and new things can arise, and a new way to design, a new breed of design could come up of that. And it's kind of a struggle for me. It was a struggle for the first let's say 5 years, because when you talk to young people at that time, education systems, design education systems are very much into the values of what I call the Church of Industrial Design. And the Church of Industrial Design is very strong in Germany because it started here. Yeah, Bauhaus and all this movement, the modernism. There is a thought that industrial design or product design has to be mass produced, has to go through all the stages, the fabrication, the design, the engineering, so on and so on. This is a very heavy kind of approach to a product. And while my approach was, you do something on your computer, and after a week you have the thing. This is kind of revolutionary when you want to make when you enter the field of design or industrial design. And I got a lot of kind of objection and rejection, because what are you trying to do here? Are you trying to destroy? Are you trying to start a revolution? What are you talking about? This kind of thing. Took several years for people to understand what I'm talking about, because culture evolved in such a way that it became clear that open culture is viable and positive. It creates a positive effect. So
yeah,
this is where
So what you're doing is you create designs that are modular.
Yeah.
Don't require very technical assembly. As I saw, there is no need for like, for example, I can do it. I'm not good with tools. I can just assemble it.
Yeah.
And if I have a CNC machine, I can produce it. But did you ever create a business model on top of that? Because I see that you have Creative Commons, but without the sharing of the revenue, without the revenue element. So basically, if I have a CNC machine, I can make the products for myself. I can make your designs or modify them, but I cannot make the money with it.
Yeah, it's a non-commercial Creative Commons license.
And I'm thinking because people who have CNC machines are usually small businesses that are actually producing. So, that could, maybe accelerate it a little bit,
Yeah. It doesn't mean that I didn't sell. I mean, at the time, I sold through several shops that I was giving my products to, some auctions that were very successful. Let's see, all kinds of situations, collectors, museum, all kinds of things happened commercially. But when I approached companies and say, hey, I have this, maybe we would like to work together, do something about it. Let's hear me, hear what open design is. If I tell you what it is, you will understand that it's good for you. Yeah, like how to create a community, for instance, around products. This is what companies are always looking for. But if you ask me, production companies are extremely conservative. They don't like risk. They don't like ideas that disrupt their thought that was always there, from the beginning.
They have a lot of costs. Yeah, that's also.
There's no cost. Actually, there's much less cost in making open design than doing anything else. I'm doing it now.
I mean, they're conservative because of the. I work with some of them. They're very conservative because they have huge monthly costs on just maintaining the factory, electricity, employees, machines.
Yeah, I mean, to keep a factory running, you need to be producing all the time. You have to be very efficient, and still your margins are very thin at the end.
What I wanted to ask is that there is no business model on top of the open design of the design concept, and so as I understood, there is no business model, meaning that if I have a CNC machine, so I'm a small business, like for example, I know a few, they have CNC machines, and so they cannot download your elements and then sell the. And then
They can. I mean, the business model. I mean, the basic business model is licensing. I did several licensing agreements in the years to companies in Milan, in China, and recently United States, where I'm a partner in this new age furniture company. But okay, there is a licensing agreement where the royalties I receive are much better than what you get from a normal producer in a let's say in a classical industrial design kind of contract. These, I mean, it depends, but I think what happened up to now is that there was not enough marketing money in what I'm doing, so the revenues I got are not so big. It was not successful until I said that I have to. I cannot work alone anymore. I cannot, because up to let's say 2 years ago or a year ago, I was a one-man show. I did my marketing, my design, my websites, my furniture, my photography, my rendering, my logos, everything. Yeah. And it got to a point where I'm saying if I go further in this direction, it will not yield anything back. So I got my recognition. Sometimes I got money. I got into very nice, lucrative job opportunities. I was a creative consultant for several years, which is for big companies, which was very nice for me. Just because I was creative in one field, I was taken to consult in fields I have no idea about, like telecommunications and optics and business processes and things like that I have no idea. But the guy is creative. Let him be creative on something else, So it was fun and very easy for me to do. But so I had a joke, people ask me, so how do you make money? And my answer was, I design a chair and make money for 2 years just by talking about it. This was the approach. And if you see the chairs, you understand why.
I like the shelves. They're very nice.
The shelves, yeah. So the shelves are started in 2018 when I wanted to do something. I wanted to go back to furniture. I didn't do a design for some time because I was into creative consulting. I said, okay, let's do something that is economically viable. And CNC cut shelving is that.
Yeah.
People pay a lot of money for shelving, and the costs to produce them with the CNC is very low. So the margin you can get is an efficient margin. You can realize that. And my partners for that was still are a company in Poznan, in Poland, where the production happens, but everything else happens here.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked a few months to develop the models, to create the prototypes, to design the website, the logo, the image, the whatever, the messaging, everything. And a few months after it was opened, and me without too much money for marketing, COVID started. So this was not a good timing to do that, but eventually maybe yes. So
I like them, yeah. And can people download the plans and make them on their own CNC?
Yes, from my website. There is a furniture selling website, like my shop, which is Fit Furniture. And on my website, ronenkadushin.com, there you can download
all the designs, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So if I have a CNC machine, I don't need to buy from you. I can make it myself.
Yeah, if it's a non-commercial thing, you can do that. Also, if you don't have a CNC machine, there's a lot of CNC machines around every urban center. You know, it's not a big deal today to have a CNC machine. So you just bring the plans, email the DXF to a producer and say, this is what I want. And that's about it.
Okay, so the way I see open design is that the way I define it is the elimination of as you said, hierarchy going to a network, but in a sense that stakeholders are included, more stakeholders. So it's not a designer and then everybody else.
A what? Sorry?
Stakeholders, meaning people who have something to say, like customers and partners, distributors. Even invisible stakeholders, people who are affected by design, but you really don't, they're not in the value chain or something like that, So that's how I define it. Meaning when I'm explaining open design, I try to explain it as let's map all the stakeholders, all the people that have some kind of relationship to it, visible or invisible, and then saying that, how do you implement that? Like, do you talk to the customers? Do you talk to someone? Do you allow them? How do you allow them to modify?
Yes, yeah. Usually when a customer, sometimes there are customers that want something and say buy, press the button and that's it, and it's produced and sent, no problem. Sometimes they would want modifications, and modifications are very easy to do. I mean, they want a specific height, specific, all kinds of dimensional changes. Sometimes they want a different finish and so on. This is very easy to supply. I mean, this is exactly what CNC manufacturing is. Mm-hmm. And when you're dealing like it's a DTC, it's called a direct to customer kind of production, it is extremely easy. And if you're talking about shareholder and stakeholders and value chain, the consumer gets a customized product in a price that is much lower than if it would have been in another technology or another kind of manufacturing situation. So this is very efficient in this way.
Okay. So only sometimes you're listening to customers. The listening to customers or other stakeholders is not really integrated in this. The way you see open design is that you eliminated the manufacturer and you're going, so that's how you see it.
I eliminated the dependency and the hierarchy of a producer that does anything they want with my design. Yeah, that basically control everything about me. I mean, tomorrow a producer can say your product is discontinued, and that's about it. That's it. Yeah. You don't have a say in this kind of thing. So here you have control. Mm-hmm. And you have a say, and you have But even before that, you know, even before this value chain and stakeholders and so on, this is, for me, this is the way to express my creativity.
Yeah.
You know, this is my creativity, and nobody is going to say anything about it. Nobody's going to tell me no. Yeah. So I can do stuff that is basically radical, even dangerous. For, you know, I have chairs that are in my cellar that I won't let my kid run around them because it's dangerous. He can get cut from it. But I needed to do that. Yeah, I had to express.
By the way, you're not selling your chairs very well.
I'm selling. It was in a.
If they're gonna cut, just
It was in a gallery. It was an opening. It was. They were sold. They cost something like between 800 and 1,000 euros each, and they were sold, and they were in museums, and there was, and so on and so on. There were a lot of things.
Don't start selling products as they cut kids. That's
yeah, I can publish it as But I think that the expression of a designer is muted and controlled by a producer, because they have a say on you. And I'm saying, excuse me for my friend, fuck you. I want to do whatever I want, you know. For the first time in the history of industrial design, a designer is free from a producer, free from a customer, free from norms, free from culture, free from everything, to express exactly what he wants. It's much more closer to art than to you know, to the discipline of design. So I must say something in this. You know, this whole open design for me is a research on what is the aesthetics of open design, because whatever it is, there's always a connection between the aesthetics of something and the circumstances of how and why and what it was produced. Yeah. So you look at modernist stuff and you say, yeah, you understand the circumstances and the philosophy. So what is what is equivalent of that as open design? You know, how does an open design thing look like? You know, what is the essence of it? So this is my expression. And when it comes to producers or customers, or I said, no, you come second. My creativity comes first, and then I'll see about you. Yeah, this is the approach, because also my impression of product design, that it's became like a boring field of creativity. It's just so boring, you know. It's so commodified. It's so I would say it's so engineered to be a product that is sold. Yeah, the business model in it, the object of desirability in it became so intentional and precise and whatever, that it's just fucking boring to be in industrial design today, you know. And I want to have fun. I would define myself something of a refugee of the 80s in a way, somebody that experienced the transformation between modernism and postmodernism, you know, this clash that was at that time, this kind of thing. And I'm saying everybody wants to be so nice today, you know. Everything has to be sustainable and producible, and everybody is becoming like so nice, you know. And I don't want to be nice. I want to be rock and roll, you know. This is why my chairs looks like that. This is why a lot of my things look a bit different, because it's open design, not because they're just the object to be sold. They're you know, consumer products. Consumer products come next. First comes what is an open design object coming from me. That is my design. You know, who am I? What is my identity? What is my political opinions? What are my opinions? What are my ways of expression? So on and so on. This is design, you know, not how much it's sold to a consumer. You know, I sometimes view consumers as irresponsible and stupid, even, you know, the way they're buying things. You know, can you count on them? Can you make consumers the target of something that you feel that is a bit more interesting than what they would like in their living rooms? No, you know. Although I like I like consumers, yeah, I communicate with them, I respect them extremely, and I try to make them happy. But when it comes to originating a piece of work, then no, it's my thing. It's my thing.
Okay. It's very interesting. I like that you're very passionate. You know, it's completely different from the way I see open design.
I'm a teacher. You have to remember, I'm a design teacher. Yeah, I'm an educator. This is what I tell my students, you know, because they come with this kind of attitude that their life's project is to be nice to consumers and producers, you know, to be to serve them. It's like a service providers, yeah. And I don't feel that at least what I can do with open design, it's not service. I'm not providing a service. I'm expressing creativity. It's more like more art than you know, topical design.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so I'm just thinking about it because it's very different from the way I see open design. I see the open design as a complete opposite of that. But I'm listening to you. I'm trying to understand your point of view because I'm also an artist and a poet, and I can understand that you require that level of expression. You know, that's very important. You know, that you know. Because the way I see it is that the more you listen, the lower the risk of making an error, and you know, just there is more democracy in that. You know, there is more direct communication. You know, but I think you're looking at it as a different way, like removing hierarchies that are obstructing your freedom to express. You know, that's the way. That's the way.
It's political. You know, it's political. I always say that open design could be seen as sort of political activism, and not just service.
No, it is super political. Yeah, it is. I see it as very, because what both understandings of open design have is that they are teaching people that the way things are done now are outdated and they need to be done in a different way, which is always very political, you know. But the way I think you are talking like the way I imagine customers are talking, you know, because that's how you're talking. The way I see customers as saying, fuck you, I want to get what I want my idea. And that's how you're talking as a designer as well, you know, like you put yourself on that same level, because I imagine customers are always like that. Me as a customer, I always feel like that, like I'm being told to take something and I don't get what I want, you know. And but again, I'm not talking about shelves. You know, if I buy shelves and stuff, I mean, my place is full of someone else's design that I want to relate to their idea. I don't want them to design what I want. I want them to relate to their wish, you know. But you know, that's interesting. You're talking the way I imagine customers talking, you know, like I want this. You know, that's how customers talk. And I guess that's your right. I mean, as a designer, you know, you should do that. Anybody, also a manufacturer, should say, I want this, you know, fuck you, give me what I want.
Give me what I want, you know. I see industry as my service providers. I tell a CNC cutter, do this, you know, and do this in the right way. I have good relations with my producers. If it's for a customer, fine, do it for the customer. No problem with that. Customers, I think they when it comes to furniture, they don't know very much about furniture or design. I mean, let's say IKEA
is the customer, I can guarantee that.
IKEA is the go-to company, the go-to supplier for furniture, which is you know, it's okay. My house has a lot of IKEA stuff. It's almost unavoidable.
By IKEA, you are a luxury. Luxury stuff.
You can have also second-hand IKEA or IKEA you found in the street, or I have also Billy's I found in the street. It's okay. But after that, you go into a situation where there's not, I mean, you can choose today, there's more to choose from, but I don't like this, nor IKEA nor the others. I'm talking about Wayfair or Made.com, these big giants of supply that you find online. You know, it's a lot of it is not, I don't like the shape or style of it, but I also don't like the fact that they're like everything else we consume, that made somewhere else in the world, put on containers with big ships going, you know, and so on and so on. You know, why not here? Why not around us? And this, and open design, with open design you can do that. You know, that you can start producing locally. And you can start understanding the consumers around you, and so on and so on. And this is new age furniture. This is what I sent you last week. This is what it is. This is the next stage of what I'm doing.
Well, there is an interesting thing. You know, I went to a supermarket here in Belgrade, and my kids wanted one type of chocolate, Tony's something.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah, and I didn't know. I was like, okay, let's buy it. And I read the packaging. It says like, this is a slavery-free chocolate. I was like, what? Like that, it implied there is a chocolate that has slavery. And I didn't know that. I mean, I read the news and all that stuff. And just somehow I missed that, you know, there is this like there are slaves somewhere making stuff. And I just figured out the Nestle stuff and all that things. So I'm like, actually these days I'm in big trouble because I'm trying to avoid Nestle, and I live in a small country where basically, I don't know, it seems Nestle owns everything, you know, from highways to lakes, you know. So I don't know, I have to figure it out. So that makes a lot of sense, you know. So being small, allowing the small, you know, the small things. But as I understood, you have the same problem that everybody small has, which is marketing, you know. So the small companies, the smaller it is, the more creative and more genius the idea, but less marketing power.
Marketing is the biggest problem. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, not marketing, the money for marketing.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Or, you know, like, believe me, I mean, because I'm trying to solve innovation for small and medium. That's, I work for big, you know, for big corporations, and I mean, okay, sometimes I work, they call me, but I'm not a big fan. But I'm more interested in, you know, how do you solve the marketing problem for small and medium? Because I don't want to end up in a world where basically you have like 100 companies, and then all the other companies exist only to give the illusion that there is not only 100 companies, you know, because that's the point, you know.
Yeah. I get the point.
Yeah. So the problem is, I see, there is a big problem with marketing, because basically there is in terms of your idea and your everything. I mean, it's there. I mean, there is nothing else needed. You know, it lacks like €1 billion in advertising. You know. And you are also stuck with platforms like Instagram and stuff, where you're competing against like women in bikinis and like six packs and stuff like that, you know. So that's a bit of a problem. Yeah, and how do you go through with the like very conceptual furniture, you know? And it's not enough to just see it. I mean, it doesn't work visually. You need to actually, because I found out about you first through the concept, and then I came to the visual. If I go only to the visual, it doesn't make any sense. There is no, I mean, it loses like 99% of the interest. You know, it's like just another thing. You know, no.
Totally true. I mean, this is why I joined a startup, or let's say co-founded a startup about less than a year ago. In the middle of COVID, I get a call from two guys in California about my age. So we're like a old people startup, let's say, and they have this idea about distributed manufacturing platform and of furniture, and they have the technology. They develop the technology. They develop the concept. They have the vision, and they have the know-how. And we talk, you know, details, what it is about, and so on. And I understood I understood that I should go with them because this is the next level. using open design and as a tool for distributed manufacturing to bring back production into neighborhoods, really into the cities back. So you starting new economies, dismantling the long and expensive and environmentally harmful supply chains. We don't need that. Yeah. So all this is with CNC production and open design and so on. There's a lot of other things, but yes, and also expression. You can have. I would the platform I'm talking about is accepting, is looking for producers. Yeah, we would like producers to join us who have a CNC and want to produce for their area. Yes, we want designers that produce with the CNC production. Yes, please come. Yeah, we have the platform is big enough, and the platform will be a shop, localized. It will take care of marketing. It will take care of sales. It will take care of invoicing, of everything except production itself, and design. So this is a very interesting, very promising vision for me. It's starting to happen. Yeah, it's into development. We are in talks with investors. It's this may be for me certainly a new step towards something that I don't know what will happen. I'm pretty optimistic about this. It's also in a way relevant to let's call it the post-COVID, although COVID is not that didn't leave us yet. And but this post-COVID situation of breakable supply chains, getting back to local, understanding what is around you, starting to behave like responsible consumers, understand the implications, and everything that you buy has some kind of effect, because up to that, I think even today, but up to that, I think the world was living in denial. I mean, the fact that you saw that we don't use slavery for cocoa harvesting.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, but prefers to deny it psychologically, that everything they buy, like shoes, clothes, electronics, everything at some point in the supply chain, there is exploitation going on, very strong exploitation.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a way to eliminate that by bringing production very close to you, paying good money for this kind of work. Not exploiting anybody on the supply chain, giving designers a very nice royalty fee for what they're doing. Trying to envision a socially responsible economy with furniture is the first field we're going into, but we may go into others. But yes, New Age Furniture has this kind of vision. Yeah. So
is that the name, New Age Furniture?
New Age, yeah, New Age Furniture. There is. I sent you the link, but it's under construction, so all the time it's changing.
Yeah. I'm checking Fit Furniture, fit-furniture.com.
Yeah, Fit Furniture is only my stuff, but New Age is. New Age Furniture is.
So your actual the way you talk about when you say open design, you mean decentralized design. That's how you mean it. I think that you're talking about decentralization, kind of like blockchain thing, where the way you're talking about it, it's more about it sounds more like blockchain rather than listenability. Like openness to customers.
Let's define it like this. Open design is what it is. Yeah, it's a digital information to produce something that is produced in CNC machines and available for download and so on. This is only the center of the thing. Yeah, the essence of the thing. Yeah. What happens with this? Suddenly, blockchain begins to be relevant for this. Yeah, we're thinking about blockchaining our production So every client or every customer that gets a piece of furniture will have on the piece of furniture a blockchain series, a blockchain number that we will know, and they will know that if something happens, they can come back to us and we can understand exactly what it is. And
well, what I meant more with blockchain is more like not having, instead of having like assets, not having the central bank, but having many independent people that many designers that can work on a single platform without.
I heard. Okay, because I heard you saying open design is centralized, and I was like, no, it's
decentralized. Decentralized.
It's decentralized, yes.
Yeah,
it's
like
not
without the big, as you say, you don't like the hierarchy of the big manufacturing processes, big companies.
Yes.
And you want to be outside of that. So that's kind of, in my mind, it's like more like Bitcoin or Ethereum, where you're outside the banks and you're building something that's just a pure network,
Yeah, if I understand correctly what cryptocurrency and blockchains are, because it's a new thing and it's hard for me to, I went into NFTs and say, why don't we do our furniture as NFTs? And we started thinking about it. It's somewhere on hold because I'm reading.
You shouldn't do as NFTs, but I think smart contracts. That's why I asked you about the business model, because if I'm a local manufacturer and I download your files, that can be put on Ethereum network with smart contracts, and you can get paid automatically. And so it's a little bit easier to manage licensing, because it's all automated and with a single currency, So, but it doesn't really change the concept, just makes execution maybe later a little bit.
That's I mean, with blockchain and all kinds of opportunities and options are open. And I'm
not talking about technology. I'm talking about the concept, meaning
it's definitely decentralized. It's a piece of information floating in a network. So if you put a smart contract on it, of course you have more knowledge about where it's going, and maybe monetizing will be part of the thing. But I never thought about monetizing in this way, but this is a new thing, so I'm not really aware of how exactly to do that, but yes, it's there.
By accident, I know people who have the CNC machines who just don't have an idea what to do, and they make stuff and they sell stuff, but they just don't have design, and so I think there is a world is full of people like that,
Yes, so please, if they are good, reliable, and professional, make an introduction, because I'm looking for people who would be on this platform. And
well, you already set a high standard, good, reliable, professional.
What? No, I mean, you have a customer.
1%.
I want happy customers, but you understand that to join a platform you need a CNC machine, maybe other things. We will give training. There's a training program. There is an induction program, what to do. We have a CNC controller of our own that we put on the machine. All kinds of. We have edge to cloud to edge computing in real time to see that everything is right. It's a whole technological platform that is controlling the quality and actually everything.
Do you think that all that perfectionism maybe holds it back? That maybe letting it go and whatever.
No, it only helps. It only helps because if you want to make a distributed manufacturing platform that is global, and you have around 200 of these facilities or more, and you don't want to implode or collapse after a year because consumers or customers are wanting to eat you alive, then you need to have this quality. And this quality is not very it's not very hard to achieve, because we have a technology platform that monitors and understands what the CNC machine is doing in real time. What kind of G code, what kind of parameters it needs to create a perfect piece every time. So the understanding of distributed manufacturing is not something that comes from me. It comes from an expert in this area. That they're working like 4 years on eliminating all the pain points of doing something like that on a global on a global scale, which is I thought this was quite impressive, because this was always the problem I faced when I was producing in all kinds of places. Everywhere you get slightly different results. Sometimes sometimes it's worked better, sometimes not. Sometimes the procedures they use are different. It's sometimes the pieces of wood of plywood vary from 17.6 to 18.2 millimeters. This kind of a fraction of a millimeter can make the difference between a piece of furniture that works to something that doesn't work at all, that you cannot do this kind of thing. So there is a procedure that you calibrate the plans and everything to with a piece of plywood that's on the machine, in real time, and so on and so on. So this is kind of a it doesn't make things harder. It just makes things possible, I think.
Okay. So how do you see the future of furniture design? Like, let's say 100 years from now.
For furniture design, if we see.
120. when our kids are older than we are.
Oh, I have a 5.5-year-old son, and I'm very afraid of what will happen. It's a fear that is like, with climate change coming in, there will be some. I mean, his future doesn't look good when you look at what's coming to us, and I'm really afraid. I think the way I'm educating him and the way I look at things, whatever happens to culture, it will have to be very flexible and resilient, very cooperative and innovative, very open-minded and network connected, because the troubles that we're going to face, the challenges, need solutions, and very quick solutions and very good solutions. And this can only happen with cooperation and good connection between whoever it is, between everybody. Yeah, it's not only people between peoples on the network, but it's also companies, that we usually like the closed garden kind of situation. They don't share IP. They don't play the game. This will not be possible in the future. There will be some kind of a need for cooperation for the survival of everybody, and changes and something like that. So, to your question, furniture in 100 years, that it's. If we survive, and I mean, survive, we'll survive, but
We'll be living in caves, huh?
Sorry?
We will be living in caves or nuclear shelters.
No, I'm not thinking we're living in caves. I believe that the humans will find a way to mitigate it. There will be a lot of damage, a lot of casualties, but eventually there will be some kind of culture that knows how to live with nature and still have some kind of quality of life, and let's say modern amenities like energy, healthcare, education, whatever it is. And in this situation, I think we will find design and furniture to be very very in tune with this kind of culture. So I don't think you will find, let's say, luxury too much. What luxurious is. I think it will disappear in some way, and maybe it's a thought. It's thinking that the human race is some kind of it has some kind of good parts in it. It will be it will reflect reason and wisdom and practicality and usefulness, and all the things that will make it efficient in its environment, for every purpose. And it will also be, I presume, colorful, happy, positive, something like that. It's not. I don't want to see this kind of sci-fi environments in my mind, like Alien or something. that everything is kind of gray and metallic, and
Yeah, I never understood those movies that are always dystopian. They never convinced me,
Yeah.
always with dystopia. I know it's very boring to make movies about utopia, but I mean, dystopia is starting to bore me really. Yeah.
I actually enjoyed, the to see just the challenge of creating this kind of world. But yes, I think humans like to be happy and distracted a bit, and color and texture and shape and things like that. This is an expression of the human psychology and existence. Creativity. It will be there. It's no doubt about it. Nobody will. It will not be any kind of a dystopian environment. I hope. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. And I hope in 100 years somebody will dig in the old internet and find these strange DXF files of shelves and chairs and stuff like that. Said, "Oh, this is interesting. Let's do that." And in 100 years.
Why do you? I mean, as I said, I see the way I discovered you online and what I read about you, and maybe this is just me because I'm very I'm an idealist like you are, and I focus on ideals, not so much on material. But I think your biggest contribution, as understood so far, is in the idea. I would like that they find your interview like this one and texts rather than your furniture. I mean, I like the furniture, but I think your contribution is in the idea. You're the thinker. You're not. I mean, you are the producer as well, but I think that what you're producing helps you think better. And I'm sorry to say that. I don't know. Maybe you want to be.
No, you can say that because most people say the other way, but it's fine because I don't.
It's just me. I'm an idealist. I always.
Yeah. People, it's the furniture I do is a complete reflection of what I think, and vice versa. Yeah. There's no difference.
It feeds each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you see it this way, then thank you. Most people don't care about the text or what I say.
Yeah.
They look at the thing and they say, would it be nice in my living room? Something like that. Yeah. There's no.
Well, not so much about the text, the attitude, the philosophy.
Attitude. Okay.
Yeah. The philosophy, because furniture is going to come and go, an object is going to come and go, but the ideas, I think, are, I think you're affecting maybe 1 million people with an idea and 1,000 people with an object, so that's how I see it, for example,
Yeah, maybe. I hope 1 million is a nice number. It's a very big number.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I work with a friend of mine. He was making Flash animations and he had like 1 million visits a week. I mean, people underestimate the power of, he was making Flash animations as art. Mm-hmm. And he had more visits per year than I think majority of the top museums together, like 50, 60 million, mm-hmm. and now that came through when NFTs showed up and he sold like $1 million in NFTs like in a month, because okay. People really love him. People love his work.
That's good.
Because in the gallery system, he was, like always in that system, as you say, it's always kind of like, he doesn't, that power that he had on so many people loving his work. And I looked at his statistics. I mean, it's not like 1 million people, meaning 60 million people go there and sit for a second and leave. They stay a minute, average a minute.
Yeah.
60 million people average a minute. That's really a lot. I think people stay less on CNN, and I don't know, I guess so, yeah. And on the CNN homepage. So the point is that like there is a lot of, as you said, restriction in hierarchy, and these things are not coming through that customers want. So that idea is very powerful. But are people going to know some of that work maybe 100 years ago? I don't know, But
I don't know too. But like the same that you look today at works of Bauhaus or the beginning of modernism of the 20th century, and you appreciate them and you want to see them and so on. This is the kind of thing I can imagine. I mean, DXF and the files I put them in, they may be future proof or maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, but there is kind of a fantasy. It's just a fantasy. Yeah, that's. In 100 years, there will be a little exhibition somewhere. I hope not in a cave, of CNC stuff that I did. You know, that say, oh, this was 100 years ago, something like that. And maybe my grandchild will open the exhibition.
Yeah,
you know?
but you love you're both a designer and let's say a philosopher, a thinker. So as a designer, you want the monument, you want that thing. You know, as a philosopher, that's a different thing.
Yeah, that's a different thing. Yeah.
So keep in mind, I work with I don't know if you know this designer, Massimo Vignelli, and I work with him for a bit, and you know, he passed away from cancer, and he has his center, you know, where they have an archive of his work and all that stuff. And I've been working the last, I don't know, a year maybe to prepare some of the works that we have that I've done with him. So it's archived. So I'm through that process. So someone I knew when he was, you know, at the peak of power as a designer, super famous, and then he passed away. And now there is that thing. And, you know, so, and now I'm thinking, how do I explain the work we've done? You know, I work with him in Benetton on and, you know, so, and I have to think about it conceptually. What did he bring? Meaning there is value in him as a person, of course. I mean, he's extremely valuable, but you also have to talk about, you end up with an ideology, because he had an ideology, you know, it was very powerful ideology, you know, and so I have to filter that out. You still end up, you know, from such a big, I don't know if you know him, you know, many people don't know.
Massimo who?
Vignelli.
Okay. Maybe I know his work, the name I don't.
Yeah. He's more graphic designer, but he did a lot of industrial, I mean, furniture design and stuff like that. You can.
So I probably know him, but
yeah, it doesn't matter. He's a famous, you know, Italian American designer, and I've been with him because I met him before he passed, and then I'm in touch with people that are managing his archive. So, and I have to do that. So it's kind of like that. He has the monument, you know, he has the building dedicated to him, but it's about the idea that he brings. People don't see the building. It's like in Rochester, somewhere in New York. I don't know, never been there, but everybody knows his idea, you know. So anyway, so you hope that people are going to figure it out in 100 years, that we're not going to explode. So okay. Final question, do you have any questions for me?
No, not really. It's hard for me to understand, you know, to just come up with it. I didn't understand where you live.
I'm in Belgrade, Serbia.
Okay, Serbia. Okay.
Yeah, I lived around, you know, in a bunch of places, but now with kids, I think it's really good here. It's very safe, happy. For kids, it's very nice. I think.
Okay, super.
Yeah.
I should visit sometimes, Serbia.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. I mean, I lived in Italy couple of years, South Africa, States, tried France. I mean, definitely compared to some places, this is really a nicest place to be a parent of young kids. Maybe Berlin is nice like that, Germany.
Nice, yeah. I live in a nice neighborhood with parks and everything. It's really nice.
But what I like about Belgrade is that I have a development team here. So you know, I'm not, when I lived in big places like Milan, for example, then you're under the rush to produce whatever the trend is.
Yeah.
And you don't have the peace of quiet in your mind to take time and develop something very different, you know. So that's, as a designer, as a producer, I prefer to have a bit of quiet. I don't like being in a busy place, like, for example, New York, London and stuff, because it's rushing, and you follow trends, and time passes, you know, you're making money, but the time passes. And, you know, I prefer to be a little bit away from that. Not too much. I don't want to be in a desert. I think Belgrade is like in between, I think.
Yeah. Also, I feel Berlin is this way. I mean, the choice of Berlin, partly, I mean, we knew some people here, but partly was that it's not as expensive and busy as let's say London or New York or Paris or whatever. Yeah, you're not one paycheck away from living under the bridge, you know, this kind of attitude. Then you don't have to rush. It was cheap at that time. So
well, I mean, you can make money. The money is not a problem. It's just that you don't feel the pressure, you know, the pressure of like when you're inside, where everything's going on and everything's moving by the minute, you feel like you have the fear of missing out all the time. You know?
Yes, yeah.
And you know, so I prefer to be a bit because I don't want me to be I don't want my creativity and my life to be under influence of all those trends that are constantly that I have to chase trends. So that's the, I mean, money, you can now, you make money you can be in a desert and invoice in New York is not, so that's not an issue, but the issue is to be a little bit away and have your own ideas, you know, a bit of quiet in your mind.
I think COVID stopped this fear of missing out. Yeah, suddenly the world stopped, and people had time to look around them and see what's going on. You know, in this, it was a terrible time, but what does it mean being home, working from home, being a bit kind of, there's nothing going on. You know, there's. Just keeping yourself and your family safe and so on. So, you know, it made a lot of people think about what they're doing. And there's I read that there is a trend now in the United States of people quitting their jobs.
There is there is a guy on Twitter that's very active. He has a startup with solves remote work. So I've been following that in the last week. I mean, it's really, I mean, basically, I think people that can work from home, if the companies tell them you have to come to the office, they're going to quit. I think 90% of people are going to be like, okay, fuck you. It's like, why? It doesn't make sense. Why do I need to pay like 60,000 euros a year rent and spend 2 hours a day commute? It does absolutely makes no sense for office workers. You know, you know?
Yeah, so there's but there are also people discovering that this kind of lifestyle, they thought it promised something, like happiness, fulfillment, so on and so on. It didn't happen. So maybe they should do something else, you know, this kind of thing.
You mean the office work didn't provide them?
Yeah, everybody that worked in let's say an office or big companies are kind of understanding that. Or let's say some of them understand that maybe there are options, there are something else to do with their life.
If people want to wear a suit and have a fancy car and go to the office, they should, I mean, they can do that, of course, is their thing, you know, but I never found any meaning in that. I mean, you know, just like you can make a ton of money and be very, very successful in anything, especially without those distractions, you know, it's like, it doesn't really make any sense to me. You know, it's like, why do you need to wear a suit, dress as a clown and go in some fake space? You know, it's just like, I mean, in my company, we always focused on solving objective problems without that clown stuff, and we're good at it. So I don't know, I'm really happy that is breaking up, you know, because some of our clients, I go there and they're like all dressed up and looking for parking and all that stuff. You know, one of the reasons I hated living in Milan is like, I look for parking every day. I lived in a center, and every day I look for parking for like an hour. I was like, and then I went to Paris, it was even worse. I mean, I like having a car because I like road trips. And I was like, okay, enough. You know, then I went to Africa, and then much more freedom, but I didn't like the racism. You know, I went to a wrong country maybe. I mean, I love South Africa, but the racism is really too much. And then I came back home, you know, I enjoyed, had kids. Is in the middle, you know, I can find parking spot very quickly, and there is no, at least institutional racism. And so that's it. Anyway, thank you very much, Ronen.
Pleasure.
Really fun. You're changing. My idea of open design is different than yours, but I think there is an overlap, like in a Venn diagram. So, and I'm trying to figure out more and more, you know, what this open design is, and you help me, you know, because I like you're a bit extreme, but in a good way. It's going to make me think, you know, and so, you know, we stay in touch, you know, would like to talk to you more.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Very nice to meet you. Ciao.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.